There is a quiet misunderstanding in modern society about people who have no friends, and psychology says the truth is very different from what most people assume. When someone spends long periods of their life without close friendships, the world is quick to label them as broken, antisocial, awkward, or emotionally damaged. But in reality, many of these individuals are not missing something. They are responding to the world in a way that protects their mental clarity and emotional health. Their brain processes social information differently, and what feels normal or enjoyable to others often feels draining, unnecessary, or even emotionally expensive to them. In a culture that glorifies constant connection, these people stand out, not because they lack value, but because they are wired for depth, awareness, and inner stability rather than noise. One of the most common psychological traits among people with few or no friends is an extremely low tolerance for inauthentic behavior. They can sense when someone is performing instead of being real, when conversations are driven by ego instead of honesty, and when kindness is conditional. Research shows that as self-awareness increases, the brain becomes more sensitive to social inconsistency, hidden motives, and emotional manipulation. Small lies, fake enthusiasm, surface-level compliments, and subtle gossip don't go unnoticed. They register instantly. For this kind of mind, being surrounded by fake energy feels more exhausting than being alone. So solitude becomes a form of self-respect rather than isolation. Instead of forcing themselves into social circles that require emotional masking, they choose peace, even if that means walking alone. Another major reason people end up without friends is not a lack of social ability, but a strong preference for depth over quantity in every relationship. These individuals are not avoiding connection, they are avoiding shallow connection. Small talk feels meaningless because it lacks emotional substance. Conversations that revolve around trends, appearances, or status feel empty because nothing real is being exchanged. Psychology shows that people with deeper cognitive processing crave conversations about ideas, human behavior, purpose, and meaning. They want to understand what drives people, what shapes identity, and what gives life value. Since most social environments are built on light interaction rather than depth, these individuals often feel unseen in crowded rooms. Instead of settling for connections that feel hollow, they wait, sometimes for years, for something real. Another factor that plays a major role is the way their nervous system responds to social interaction. Some brains naturally burn more energy during human contact, a trait psychologists often associate with high social sensitivity. This doesn't mean they dislike people or fear interaction. It means their mind processes more information at once. They notice tone shifts, emotional undercurrents, micro-expressions, and unspoken tension. While others engage socially on the surface, these individuals go several layers deep, often without trying. As a result, socializing costs them energy instead of giving it. After conversations, they don't just feel tired, they feel mentally saturated, and their brain demands solitude to reset. This is why alone time isn't loneliness for them, it's recovery. Another misunderstood trait is extreme independence. Many people without friends have a very low need for external validation. They don't require constant reassurance, approval, or social feedback to feel grounded. Psychology refers to this as low social dependency, and it's often linked to strong internal regulation. These individuals can think deeply, entertain themselves, solve problems, and emotionally self-soothe without relying on others. They create meaning internally instead of sourcing it from a group. This independence can make them appear distant or emotionally detached, but in reality, it reflects a strong sense of self. They don't need people around them to feel complete, which naturally raises their standards for who they allow into their life. Friendship is not a requirement for survival. It's an addition that must bring value. Past experiences also shape this pattern more than most people realize. Many individuals who end up without friends didn't start that way. At some point, trust was broken, boundaries were crossed, or emotional safety was violated. It could have been betrayal, being misunderstood for years, emotional neglect, or being surrounded by people who drained rather than supported them. Psychology shows that once the brain associates closeness with pain, it becomes protective. The mind doesn't shut down connection, it raises the threshold. Trust is no longer given freely, it is tested, observed, and earned slowly. This selective process often leaves fewer people standing, but those who make it through are real. What all of this means is simple but powerful. Having few or no friends is not a sign of failure. It often reflects heightened awareness, emotional intelligence, and self-respect. These individuals are not antisocial. They are selectively social. They are not broken. They are intentional. They don't chase connection to avoid being alone because their inner world is already rich. They think deeply, feel intensely, and protect their peace fiercely. Sometimes, the strongest minds walk alone for a season, not because they are lost, but because they refuse to settle for anything that costs them their authenticity. And if you recognize yourself in this, understand this clearly: nothing is wrong with you. Your mind simply works on a different frequency, one built for depth, awareness, and truth.